In 2021, I hosted a Halloween-themed crochet along here on YouTube. In this video, I have combined every part of that crochet along into one big video. If you prefer to follow a written PDF pattern, I have also linked that down below in the description together with a discount code. In October, I am hosting a brand new crochet along that is autumn themed. Together, we are gonna discover a brand new pumpkin sweet amigurumi. The crochet along is hosted inside the Happy Amigurumi Club, and I have left all the information and links to the sign up down in the description. With no further ado, let's roll the clips from 2021. Happy crocheting! In this video, I will show you how to crochet part 1 of the secret amigurumi, the head. If you'd prefer to follow a written step-by-step pattern, you will find the link to the PDF in the description. For my amigurumi, I'm going to use Organic Cotton Alba by BC Gar, my favorite cotton yarn of all time. I just love the high quality and the great colors. To be able to make this part of the amigurumi, you need to know how to crochet a magic circle, single crochets, increases, and decreases. If you need to refresh your memory, I have YouTube tutorials for all of these things on my YouTube channel, so go and take a peek there first and come back to this video when you know how to do those things. Okay, I think this is everything that you need to know for now, so let's get to it. So let's start off with a magic circle with 6 single crochets. So, it splitted the first thing I did. So 1, 2 chains, and then in the second chain from the hook, 6 single crochets. There are a lot of ways to do your magic circle, so just pick the one that you prefer most. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is our first row. So in the next row, we will increase 6 times, which will give us 12 single crochets at the end of the row. So 2 single crochets in each stitch. And if you want to have some help keeping track of your rows, you can use a stitch marker, for example, to mark where your row starts and ends. Let's count the stitches just to be sure that we haven't missed any increases. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yes. On the next row, this is row 3, we are going to make 1 single crochets and 1 increase. So we will continue making 6 increases evenly throughout the row. So I made already 1 single crochet and 1 increase. 1 single crochet and 1 increase. 1 single crochet and 1 increase. This will give us 18 stitches at the end of the row. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18. Yes, that is the right stitch count. You will now continue to increase evenly 6 times per row until you have 60 stitches in total. The last row that you are going to increase on will have 8 single crochets and 1 increase. So I will now speed up this video and show you guys how it will look like when you have made all of your increased rows. So for the next couple of rows, we are going to crochet 1 single crochet in each stitch. So there will be 60 stitches, 60 single crochets on each row for 10 rows. So this is how your head should look like after 10 rows of only single crochets. Now it's time for the decrease rows, and we'll be starting off by crocheting 8 single crochets and 1 decrease, and repeat that until you come to the end. So you will repeat that 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and a decrease. Oh man. Let's make a decrease. Yes, like this. So 8 single crochets and a decrease. On the next row, it's time to make 7 single crochets and 1 decrease. So we will decrease evenly 6 times per row until we have 30 stitches left. So this is how your head should look like after 5 rows of decreasing 6 times per row. So now you just have to cut off your yarn and wave in the ends and stuff your head. The second part of the call is these ears. So we are going to make our ears for the secret amigurumi. You can choose to make them with 2 colors, as I have done here, or you can do it with only 1 color. That's totally up to you. Yeah, let's dive into it, shall we? To make these ears, you need to know how to make a magic circle, single crochets, and increases. Yeah, no decreases this time. And if you want to make them with 2 colors, it's also good to know how to crochet with 2 colors at the same time. So let's start off with making a magic circle with 4 single crochets this time. And if you prefer to follow a written pattern, you'll find all the instructions on how to get your hands on the written step-by-step instructions in the link down below. So we have now 3, and 4. This is our first row, and on the second row it's time to increase and make 4 increases. So at the end we should have 8 single crochets. And I have started to crochet with the main color, or the color A, as it is in the pattern. That's our 2 first rows. This third row is 1 single crochet and 1 increase. At the end we should have 12. Sorry, not there. 12 single crochets. Fyra, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yep, that was our third row, and on our fourth row we will make 2 single crochets and 1 increase. So at the end we should have 16 stitches. On the next row, it is time to start crocheting with 2 colors if you like to have a lighter color inside your ear. Otherwise, you just skip the color changes in the pattern. So we are going to start off, this is the 5th row by the way, crocheting 3 single crochets and 1 increase. So 1, 2, 3 and a increase. And now it's time, not really yet, okay. I thought we were going to change color already, but we have to make 2 stitches like this. So increase and 2 stitches, and now it's time to change color to color D, or the lighter purple, or whatever color you are going for. So let's back up the last stitch that we did and take our new color and pull it through. This way we will have a very nice and clean color change. And now it's time to crochet 2 stitches, no, 1 stitch. Only 1 single crochet with the other color, and then we will change back to our main color. And then we will make a increase, so 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And then we have left to do 3 single crochets and 1 increase 2 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the increase. And 1 last time. 1, 2, 3, and a increase. Yeah, that was our first row with the color changes. So let's continue with row 6. 4 single crochets and 1 increase. Let's start off with that. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a increase. And after that we are going to let me check the pattern. 1 single crochet and then a change of the color. So 1, and now we will change color. So I haven't cut the yarn, I will just pick it up from my work. So I will go back 1 step on the previous stitch and just pull the second color through like this. And now I will crochet 1, 2 and 3. And now it's time to change the color again, so I will back up that stitch and pull through the main color. And we will continue making a increase. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and a increase. And after that we will continue making 4 again, 4 single crochets and a last increase. Yeah, and this was now our 6th row. And after that you should have 24 stitches on your ear. So let's continue with row number 7. We'll be starting off with 5 single crochets in our main color. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and a increase. So now it's time to change the color again. So we are going to back 1 step of the previous stitch and pull through our second color, color D, if you are reading the pattern at the same time. So now we are going to make 5 single crochets with the second color. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and change back. The next thing we will do is make a increase. And now we will make 5 single crochets and 1 increase 2 times. So this was our last increase row, row number 7. Let's continue with row number 8. So we are going to crochet 6 single crochets with our main color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and because we are going now to change the color, I will not finish that stitch but pull through the second color. And now we will crochet 7 single crochets with the second color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And because I'm going to change color now, I will pull through the main color. like this. And now we will crochet the rest of the stitches with the main color, and that should be 15 single crochets. So on the next rows, it's row 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So the next 5 rows, you are going to repeat crocheting 5 single crochets, change the colors, make 9 single crochets with the lighter color, and crochet the 14 last stitches with the main color. So I will show you this row, and then you just repeat it until you have made that row 5 times. So this is now row 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, and now we will change the color. So 5 single crochets in the main color, change the color to the second color. Be sure that it's not too tight behind your work, and make 9 single crochets with the second color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now it's time to change back to the main color and make the last 14 stitches. I was too fast. There is our beginning and end. So continue on the next 4 rows, making 5 single crochets in the main color, 9 single crochets in the second color, and 14 single crochets in the main color again. So this is how your ear should look like after row number 13. And as you can see, the different colors are just going crisscross on the back side of the lighter part of the ear. So now we can just tie these 2 ends together like this. And now it's time to close the ear with 14 single crochets. So to get the lighter part in the center of the ear, you need to add a couple of single crochets. For me, it worked with 2, but you might need to try out what works for you. So I will add 1, 2 at the end, make a chain, and start crocheting together the stitches in the back row and the front row. Like this. Here is our ear. And the next thing you do is make a second one, because we need to have 2 ears for our amigurumi. Before we end, let's cut off the yarn, save a little piece to sew it together with the head, and veil in this little piece of yarn, and then we are done. In this video, I will show you how to crochet the third part of the secret amigurumi, the legs. If you prefer to follow a written step-by-step pattern, you will find the link to the PDF in the description. To be able to make these legs, you need to know how to crochet a magic circle, single crochets, increases, no decreases this time. So, let's get crocheting, shall we? Okay, so let's start off with a magic circle with 5 single crochets. So this is how I make my magic circle, but there are so many ways, so just pick and choose the way you like to make them. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our magic circle with 5 single crochets. For the second row, we are going to increase with 5 times, so that at the end of the row we will have 10 stitches. And let's count the stitches just to be sure that we didn't forget any increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the right amount of stitches that we want. So on the third row and fourth row and fifth row, we are going to continue increasing evenly 5 times per row. So by the end of our increase rows, we should have 25 stitches. So let's do that. So this was the third row, so now we are increasing 1 single crochet and 1 increase. 1 single crochet and 1 increase. This was our third row, and now we have 15 stitches. And now for the fourth row, let's make 2 single crochets and 1 increase. 2 and a increase. Yep, that was our fourth row. And the last increase row, which we are going to 3 single crochets and 1 increase. So 1, 2, 3 and a increase. Yes, and now we should have 25 stitches, so let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yes, 25 stitches, and that was all of our increase rows. For the next 5 rows, we will make 25 single crochets per row, so 1 single crochet in each stitch. So let me speed up this video and show you how it looks like after those 5 rows. So this is how your first leg should look like after the rows, with no increases and no decreases or whatsoever, just with one single crochet per stitch. So now we just cut off the yarn ends, wave in the ends, and make a other one, because we need two for our secret amigurumi. Here are our two legs. Keep the yarn attached to the second leg, because in the next part we are going to crochet the legs together and start on the body. So don't cut this one, but you can definitely, if you want to, wave in this one, so you don't have to do it at the end, because we all know if we leave it, it's never gonna happen. So that's why it's good to try and wave in as you go. In this video, I will show you how to crochet part 4 of our secret amigurumi. It's the body, and we will continue from our legs that we did in the previous video. If you'd prefer to follow a written step-by-step pattern, you will find the link to the PDF in the description. To be able to make this part, you need to know how to crochet chain stitches, single crochets, and decreases. Okay, I think that was everything you need to know. Let's start crocheting. So, this is where we ended last time in the previous video. We made a pair of legs. So, and we waved in the ends on the first leg, but we left the yarn attached to the second leg. And here is where we are going to continue making the body. So we are now making 5 chain stitches. 3, 4, and 5. And now it's time to jump over to the first leg. So we are going to continue making 25 single crochets around this leg. And there we have 25 stitches. Let's just double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yes, 25! Now we are going to continue crocheting 5 single crochets in the chains. And be careful so you don't twist the chain. We want it to be this way. And we start off with here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your piece should look something like this right now. And now we continue to crochet 25 stitches around the second leg. And here is our last stitch on the second leg. So now we have made 25 stitches also on this leg. So the last thing we are going to do on the first row of the body is to crochet 5 single crochets in the back loops of the chains. So 5 single crochets in the back loops of the chains that is in between the both legs. So 1 and 2 somewhere. It's a bit tricky to find the right holes, but no worries, you just poke it through somewhere and count that you have 5 stitches in between the legs. So that's our third and fourth and 5. And here is where our first row ends. Now you should have a total amount of 60 stitches. 25 plus 5 plus 25 plus 5. So that is 60. We are now going to continue crocheting the body around the first leg, the middle part and the second leg, and back on the middle part and the leg. For the next 11 rows, we are going to crochet 60 single crochets on each row so we get some height on our secret amigurumi body. I will now speed up this video and come back to you after 11 rows. So this is how your piece should look like after 11 rows with 60 single crochets on each row. Now we are going to start decreasing, and we will make a decrease row on each third row. So we will now start off with the first decrease row, and we will crochet 8 single crochets, 1 decrease, and repeat this 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and a decrease, and repeat this 5 more times. So now we have made 6 decreases and we should have 54 single crochets or stitches on the previous row. So now it's time to make 2 rows with 54 single crochets on each row. So this is how your body looks like after 2 rows with 54 single crochets. Now it's time for the second row of decreases, and we are going to crochet 7 single crochets, 1 decrease, and repeat this 6 times until we have 48 stitches. So let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and a decrease. And repeat this 5 more times. And we are done. On the next 2 rows, we are going to crochet 48 single crochets on each row. So now we are done with the 2 rows with only single crochets, and it's time to decrease again. And this time we are crocheting 6 single crochets and 1 decrease, and repeating this 6 times. So 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6, and a decrease. Continue to repeat this 5 more times until you have 42 stitches. Now it's time for 2 in-between rows again with 42 single crochets on each row. Okay, it's time for our 4th decrease row, and this time we are making 5 single crochets and 1 decrease, and repeating this 6 times so that we, by the end of this row, should have 36 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and a decrease. So now you should have 36 stitches, and on the next 2 rows we are going to crochet 36 single crochets. And we have finally arrived at our last row of the body. And this is actually also our last decrease row. So for the next row, we are going to crochet 4 single crochets and 1 decrease, and repeat this 6 times until we have 30 stitches, which is also the same amount of stitches that we had on our last row on the head. So the head and the body will now fit perfectly together. And we are finally finished. Whew, that was a big part. But guys, now we just cut off the yarn and save approximately 30 centimeters so that we have something to attach the body and the head together with. And yeah, pull the loop, and and then we just have to stuff our body. In this video, I will show you how to crochet the fifth part of our secret amigurumi, and it's a couple of wings. If you'd prefer to follow a written step-by-step pattern, you'll find a link to the PDF in the description. For this part, you'll need to know how to crochet a magic circle, single crochets, increases, and decreases. Okay, I think that was everything. Let's get started. So, this wing is started off with 3 small triangles, and that's what we are going to start making. And we make these 3 separately, and then we crochet them together and continue crocheting on the wing. So let's start off with making the first triangle. So let's begin with a magic circle with 3 single crochets. One, 2, and 3. For the next row, this was the first row, we are going to increase 3 times until we have 6 single crochets in total. This beginning might be a bit tricky because it's so small, but just try your best. Our first increase, and here's our second. And third. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And on our, I'm going to flip this with the right side out. On the third row, we are going to make 1 single crochet and 1 increase, and repeat that 3 times until we have 9 stitches. So 1, and a increase, and 1, and a increase, and 1, and a increase. Now we should have 9 stitches, so let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. On our 1, 2, 3, 4th row, we are going to crochet 2 single crochets and a increase. So 1, 2, and a increase, and 1, 2, and a increase, and the last time 1, 2, and a increase. And on our 5th row, which is the last row of our tiny triangle, we are going to crochet 5 single crochets and a increase, and repeat that twice so that we have 14 stitches by the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a increase, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a increase. And double check that you have 14 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yes, and this was actually my third tiny triangle. So you go ahead and make 2 more and wave in the ends on the 2 that you have made and keep the yarn attached to the third one, like this. So now it's time to crochet together these 3 tiny triangles, like this. So we are going to start off with the one that is still attached to the yarn, and we are going to crochet 7 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now we take the second triangle and jump over to this one. So we are going to crochet 7 single crochets on the next triangle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we jump over to the first one we made and crochet 7 single crochets in this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. And now we continue to make 7 more around this, so in total 14 stitches. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Let's just double check. Oh man, I crocheted 2 together by mistake. Let's do that one again. And then we will double count our stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, it's only 13. I thought so. So 1 more. Now it's the right stitch count. Okay, so now it's time to jump back over to the middle triangle and crochet 7 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3,
here, and 7. And then we jump over to the last one and make 7 single crochets in that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we have attached our small triangles together. Let's just double check, because now you should have 42 stitches. So it's always easier to count when you're counting on your mother tongue. So yeah, that was row number 6. On our 7th row, we are going to continue crocheting around these triangles, and we are going to make 1 decrease and 38 single crochets and 1 decrease. So we are going to decrease once in the beginning, make single crochets around the rest of the wing, and make a decrease at the end. So first a decrease, and then just single crochets. Off the row with a decrease. So now you should have 40 stitches, and on the next row we are going to crochet 40 single crochets, so 1 single crochet in each stitch. And on the next row, on row 9, we are going to decrease, make 36 single crochet and decrease. So decrease once in the beginning and once in the end. And by the end of this row, you should now have 38 stitches. So on the next row, we are going to crochet 38 single crochets. On the next row, we are going to crochet 1 decrease and 34 stitches and then 1 decrease. So by the end, we should have 36 single crochets. So let's make a decrease in the beginning, make our single crochets, and then 1 decrease in the end. Now you should have 36 single crochets, and we are going to crochet 36 single crochets on the next row. On the next row, row number 13, we are going to decrease once, make 32 single crochets and decrease again. So decrease in the beginning and in the end. And by the end of this row, you should have 34 single crochets left. So for the next row, we are going to crochet 34 single crochets. Okay, we have arrived at our last row, and for the next row we are going to crochet together this hole that we have in our wing by crocheting together the front row stitches and the back row stitches, like we did with the ears. If this would be my first wing, I would start crocheting together these stitches right now like this. So one chain and then just turn and start crocheting them together. But because this is actually not my first wing, this is my second wing, and I want it to be mirrored, so I'm gonna show you guys. This is my first wing, and I want my second wing to be mirrored like this. So I'm going to crochet now 17 single crochets to move my stitch, and then I will close the gap or close the hole in the wing. (15) and 16 and 17. And now I will make my chain and turn it and start crocheting together my single crochets. So here's my first. You will make a total of 17 single crochets. And now we are done. Now we have 2 mirrored wings, and the only thing we need to do is cut off the yarn, save some so that we can attach the wings to the body, and wave in any extra ends. And for the second wing, I'm also going to move the yarn end to the other side, because there is where I want it when I'm going to assemble our amigurumi later. we are done! In this video, I will show you how to crochet the eyes for our secret amigurumi. If you prefer to follow a written step-by-step pattern, you'll find a link to the PDF in the description. To be able to make these eyes, you need to know how to crochet a magic circle, single crochets, increases, and slip stitches. Okay, I think that was everything. Let's start crocheting. Okay, so let's start off with a magic circle with 8 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I like to crochet my eyes with a seam and not with a spiral because I don't want a bump in the middle of my eye. So I will end each row with a slip stitch and a chain. So now we are ready to go on with the next row. For the second row, we are going to increase 8 times until we have 16 stitches. So 1 increase, 2 increase, and so on. So now we have 16 stitches and I will end my row with a slip stitch in the first stitch and a chain. So for the third and the last row of our eye, we are crocheting 1 single crochet and 1 increase. So 1 single crochet in the same stitch as we did the slip stitch, and then just a increase, and then a slip stitch, no sorry, a single crochet and a increase until we have 24 stitches. Yes, and now we just end the row. No, we cut off the yarn and then we are going to end with a invisible join. So just cut off the yarn but save a bit so that you have something to attach the eye to the head with. Then we're going to wave in the other yarn. This one we just pull through and pull the middle part super tight so we don't get a hole in our eye. I actually like to wave in the ends on the right side because I think it's easier to see where the stitches go, so that's why I move the yarn to the front side. Okay, so the last thing we are going to do is to crochet the slip stitches on the eye, and you can make between 8 to 12 stitches depending on your like and preference. So on this eye I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I will try and make the same amount on the second eye. So let's start somewhere here and pull through the yarn like this. And now we just slip stitch in between the second and the third row. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then we cut the yarn. This is like the world's most awful pair of scissors, obviously. Okay, so yeah, now we just move our end to the back, and then I tie the two black ends together and cut off the extra yarn. And there we have it. One eye and a second eye. So now you just have to crochet one more of these and you'll have a pair. In this video I will show you how to crochet part number 7, and it's a daisy scarf. If you prefer to follow a written step-by-step pattern, you'll find a link to the PDF in the description. To be able to make this daisy scarf, you need to know how to make chain stitches, single crochets, slip stitches, and double crochets. Okay, I think that was everything. Let's start crocheting. Okay, so the first thing you are going to do is crochet 97 chains. And when you have made 97 chains, I have actually marked out every 20th stitch so that it is easier to keep count of my stitches. But when you have made your 97 chain stitches, we are going to start crocheting in the chains, and we are making 96 single crochets. So we will skip the first chain and continue with the second, and 1 single crochet in each chain. Yeah, until we come to the end. So this is how it looks after the second row, and for the next 4 rows we are going to crochet 1 single crochet in each stitch, but on each row skip the 3 last stitches. So on the next row we will crochet, let me check, 93 single crochets and then turn. So let's turn here first. 1 chain and then turn, and 93 single crochets. So this is how your scarf should look like after 4 more rows, skipping the 3 last stitches on each row. So this is how the edge looks like, and here is the other edge. That way is the right way. Yeah, so now we cut off the yarn. Pull out the loop, and we are going to crochet a edge from here, 1 single crochet in each stitch, also in the ones that we have skipped. So here you make 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then all the way here, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we will now attach our yarn over here. So we recently, the last row, we had our work this way, and now we're going to flip it. So this way, and we will attach it in the first stitch that we skipped. Like this, and then make a chain, and then we make our first single crochet in the same stitch. So now we have made 1 and 1, our second one, third, and then jump over here, 4, 5 and 6, and then 7, and now you can, if you want to, crochet in this yarn so you don't have to wave in it, wave in the yarn end. So like this, and now we just continue crocheting and we get this nice and straight edge. So continue making 1 single crochet in each stitch. It should be a total amount of 96 stitches. So this is how it looks like after row 7. We have a nice straight edge over there and over there. So now we are going to change color. Or actually, my plan was to make this entire scarf in yellow, but I have run out of yellow, so I'm going to make the flower petals with white instead. So let's change the yarn, change the color. And guys, we have finally arrived to this crochet along's final round. So yeah. Let's chain 1 and turn, and we are now going to skip the 2 first stitches and crochet 7 double crochets in the next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes, and 7. And now we are going to skip the next 2 stitches, so 1, 2, and make a slip stitch in the third one. And we are now going to repeat this until we reach the end of our row. So this is how the daisy scarf looks like when you have made all the 16 petals. So now we just cut off the yarn and wave in all the ends. until the end. Thank you so much for crocheting along together with me. This was the final part of our October Crochet Along 2021. I promise you there will be next one in December. Now the only thing you have left to do is to assemble your bat. Yes, it's a bat that we have made. And this upcoming Saturday, the 16th of October, I'm hosting.
I hope you enjoyed this project. If you love crochet alongs, I highly recommend you to join the Happy Amigurumi Club, where I host annual crochet alongs. The next one is coming up in October, and the one after that is hosted in December. I hope I'll see you there. Bye!